And it's time for another Starbase summary. If you're new, here's how it works. We're going to show you some video or a picture, and you're going to post in the comments how it makes you feel. Or what you think about it. Or whatever. Kicking it off February 4th here, we still have Test Tank 16 in air quotes, except they're not in the air, they're on the screen, because it's not an official name. It's our best guess as to what this tank should be, but we have not yet captured a label for it, as per my last understanding of it. But there it goes, rolling down the road, presumably for testing of the tank, because it's right there. Well, that's what we call it. Anyways, look, we see a tank, it gets tested, we call it Test Tank, we put a number after it, and Bob's your uncle, or whatever. All the way back over to Massey's test site, another good indication that Test Tank may be correct. Mary popping over, getting some close-ups here. Those are all the robotic cameras covering it on the rollout. But here we have folks on lifts riding it like it's some sort of dinosaur. No, it's not really a dinosaur. That doesn't look anything like a dinosaur. We can't go there in any event. Test Tank 16, air quotes, will get tested most likely. Back over at the office building, you see the logo there. And we're going to take a peek into the bay back at the production site for that Pez loader. Got a couple shots of this thing moving around, seemingly almost like a, I guess it would really be, would it be a clip, right? Because you put the Starlinks in the clip, but the clip doesn't actually go into the rocket or whatever. It's not a magazine. The magazine would go into, anyways, Brontosaurus ribs, flame deflector work. We've been seeing the work on the pipes here the entire time. It's fast and furious, folks. The images keep coming. Keep pushing your comments down below. There's the launch site from the reflecting pool. Going to zoom in a little bit, see those chopsticks, see that big traveling block on the top of the chopsticks there. And another shot of orbital pad B. You see how this works? You just let it wash over you. It's the scenes of Starbase. They just let them flow across you, and when they've passed, only you will remain, and a little bit better understanding of what happens at Starbase. Gonna peek in the central gate there over at the original launch tower. Cool that we can say that. You thought that truck was gonna hit you, didn't you? But it didn't. It turned. You probably didn't think it was gonna hit you. And we've got some days of weather that have been coming through. You hear this quite often. Here in the January, February, like early, late winter, I don't know what to call it, we get the right conditions for the low fogs, or I guess high fog or low clouds off the Gulf here. Look at this, just sort of rolling in. If you look straight up, sometimes you got blue skies right above you, but you get this very low Gulf marine layer, glare maybe. It's not really Vanden fog, but it's there. You can feel it in the air. If you shine an IR light through it, you can actually see it. You can see what is this? They're trying to blow the fog away? No, I feel like potentially they should have secured that before pulling it down the road. I'm just gonna say, interesting. Unloading this big fan. What was that? A Howden was the name of it. We had two on the truck, and we've put that big fan. I'm gonna have to watch what's going on there. That's a curb. This is a curb getting constructed. Funny story behind this. Jack was actually here doing some work on the camera we have there. There are construction signs and stuff like that, but Jack was waiting for cameras to reboot and reconnect and that sort of stuff. And while that was happening, Jack filmed this time lapse of the curbification machine there, the shaped concrete pouring device actually making that curb, which is interesting. Apparently, we're also going to catch the fan. So, all right, technically, that fan is not making the truck go faster. That fan is making the truck go slower. It's pulling energy out of the truck that the truck is combusting fuel to actually push that thing down the road, but it is not helping the truck along. This is why it doesn't make sense for you to put a wind generator on the side of your RV to recharge your batteries while you drive it. I did the math probably 10 years ago. Anyways. Moving right along, more shots of the launch site here. I have noticed in the comments, like, I don't always comment on every single scene that flashes before your eyes, right? Like, sometimes I'm talking about something else, or I'm talking about something completely unrelated, because that's the way that the neurons have lit up when the scene was flashed before me. Oh, look at this, though. Pay attention here. That's the Raptor Quick Disconnects purging on the outside of the launch mount there to help those outer Raptors get spooled up for launch, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there's the booster cutie. Look at that. How cool. I don't know exactly what... This happened later in the evening, I know. But I'm so glad we have the cameras out there when somebody doesn't have to be sitting by 24/7. We have sort of... Could you call them robotic reporters, robotic journalists? We're going to get there one day, folks, and there will be questions about robotic journalists and their rights and how they can operate. I don't know if we're sort of pioneering that idea, but why have a person stand out there 24/7 when a robot, air quotes, very primitive robot, would do? Anyways, discuss in the comments. Saw a little bit of testing back there at Massey's, or preps for testing. Here's a peek inside the Mega Bay 2 with the Mega Bay 2 wedding chapel doors there in the background. You can air condition that space and rent it out for parties or receptions. That's actually not true, although I imagine if you're SpaceX or high enough up at SpaceX, you could probably do that. But not for the general public. There's that second launch mount, the 3-story building that will roll down the road at some point. That's going to be a hoot to see. You're going to have to check the concrete, not actually the concrete, the pavement, the asphalt afterwards to see if it's squished out the side of the road like toothpaste. That's a real thing. Well, actually, Jack, if you're reading this, or Mary, if y'all listen to this, if you ever see the highway that has been squished out the side like toothpaste because it gets hot and they roll something really heavy down the road and it literally squishes the asphalt out the side, give me a picture of that one day. Come summer, you start moving these really heavy things up and down the roadway, and I'm not kidding that the asphalt literally squishes out the side. Anyways, February 7th, that's a booster transport stand. SPMT showing off their mobility there as it strafes sideways. Actually kind of cool that it can do that. Gonna get a gratuitous tilt up the ship here. Tiles looking good. More weather, but here you can see Ship 32 scooting around over into the high bay. I really like the clouds going by. Look at this. I would have tweaked its camera to level it just a little bit, but with the wind and the weather and the ground being dirty, that's really tough to keep this stuff level 24/7. It's almost like you need a gyroscopically auto-leveling, stabilized something or other. I can see the Amcrest beat there, the bzz, 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 how those specific model of cameras don't move smoothly. They sort of have a heartbeat to them that causes them to bzz, bzz, bzz a little bit. But anyways, I'm not kidding. I watch the videos. I tell you random things about what I see in the video, like here. Taking down the whole mural, that backing is still there, but they're removing that, shall we say, hastily deployed mural. Now, are they priming this? Are those fixed? Are they adding some sort of coating that maybe makes the barrel, or the barrel, the mural stick a little bit better? I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll keep watching what's going on. All sorts of ships and stuff around here. I think that one was, did it say it was Ship 32 in the first shot? This is Ship 35 over here. It's almost like the Shell game. Like, how do you even keep track of them? We just watch, and if one moves, we know, well, that's that. So it's moving this way. What do we have here? Jack getting some shots. That looks like the big traveling block. Are those intermediate? Yeah, look at that. It's like they've used a lighter weight, I think. Cables, rope, I can't identify what they are from here. Somebody could tell me what they would actually use. I feel like cables would have the strength needed for an operation like this. But they've pre-run the loops of cable with smaller, lighter weight stuff. And look, you can actually see the pulleys moving there. And I bet you what they do is they end up connecting the heavier cable to it, and the heavier cable to it, and the heavier cable to it, until you have the full, I guess, mass strength final cable run up and down the tower as many times as it needs to go. If you've ever seen the construction of bridges, right? It's 1920 and we're building this huge suspension bridge across the Mega Canyon or whatever, right? And they send this one little wire. Oh, hey, that's a ship flap. Nice. They send this one little wire across that's lightweight, and they can get across pretty easily. And they put a little bit larger wire that the small wire could carry, but it's not the hugest, most heavy wire. And they run a bigger one, and they run a bigger one. And I wonder, it really does look like that's what happens there with the, I guess, reeving process. No kidding. Jack, I think that was Jack. If I got that wrong, I apologize. But that's really cool that we caught a little bit of that in action up close with the nice, proper non-security camera there. In any event, miscellaneous things running around the yard. That's a chopstick actuator. Man, all right. That is a chopstick actuator. Rolling from, I guess, where it was assembled or created inside the factories back there over to the chopsticks, where it needs to be installed. Oh, look, it's going for a ride. Crane seems slightly oversized for this, but it's there and ready to go. Okay, and here's one more thing. This is actually hot off the presses from early this morning. This is the booster rolling out to the pad. Booster 15 on the booster transport stand, set of SPMTs, or one SPMT conglomeration, collective, whatever, underneath it to have it roll down the road. Jack here out in the middle of the night to catch this with some proper cameras, doing the turn. Got the blink. It's like art, right? It's like, oh, this isn't really an engineering thing. That's almost an engineering thing. That's like an art and engineering shot. Like the lighting and the shadow and the detail of the little fiddly bits on the quick disconnect there. Looks like we're going to get a tilt of the entire thing as well. God. See, that's almost like an abstract metal print, right? That shot of the angled view of the quick disconnect plate with the caps on it and the lighting the way that it was, and you like frame that and you put it on the wall, and it's like a conversation piece. I don't actually think that's available in the shop. In any event, it's just, look, that's what popped into my mind when I saw that image. I was like, wow, that'd be actually really cool on the wall. But there you go. You can see the booster moving all the way over to pad A, nestling in between the chopsticks. Look at the background there. Do you see the pins coming out? Did you see how those pins sort of released it? And then it lifted up. We're going to get some raptors there on the bottom. There you go. Bunch of raptor booties underneath it. Keeping the FOD out. It's important. Got a little adjustment there. Very cool. There goes the pins. See the stabilizer pins going in the side.